And while she's here, she's excited to meet new people.
Bonjour tout le monde. Ça va? Excellent, très bien. Guten Morgen. I have the great pleasure to introduce Frau Salka-Blöcks, a colleague from Hamlin. She teaches English and biology, and this is the first time to do the exchange here in South Burlington, but she has certainly been to the States before. She spent a year in La Crosse, Wisconsin, teaching German and studying English. When I asked her about her hobbies, her eyes lit up, and she loves horseback riding and traveling. And along those lines, she hopes for her students and our students that participating in the exchange will bring forth experiences that she had as a high school student. She participated in every exchange opportunity that she had, and she hopes that people will get to know each other, get to learn about each other's cultures, and I'm not taking away from her speech that she's going to give. And yeah. And oh, by the way, she's 17. Sorry, I forgot that.
Guten Morgen, ich heiße John Luce und es ist mein Vergnügen, wieder an diesen Austausch teilnehmen zu dürfen zum 4. Mal. My name is Herr Luce and it's my pleasure to participate in the TIE Germany exchange for the 4th time and for me to host a foreign teacher for the 5th time. We hosted a teacher from Salamanca, Spain a couple years ago. I'd like to introduce Lars Franke to you. Herr Franke is an English and history teacher at the Schiller Gymnasium. He's been teaching there for 5 years. And Lars is equally at home in Hildesheim, Germany, as he is in New York City. He enjoys particularly American authors, such as William Faulkner, and he has practiced many diverse martial arts as well, so be careful. So, without further ado, Lars.
Good morning to all of you. It's pretty exciting to be here and speak in front of the whole school, the two of us. We have 2 parts, so each of us is going to say a few words to you. So let me just start by saying, dear Patty Burke, dear David Young, dear Bob Schirmer, dear Tim Kahn, dear Teresa Anthony, and dear Carsten Schoenberg, and John Luce, and everyone else participating in TIE 2014-15 to Germany this time. It's kind of strange to stand here and to talk about an exchange program that is older than I am myself. 35 years old, the exchange program is 40 years old, so that's a weird feeling a bit. And I think I can just say that both of us are just proud and humbled to be able to be part of that experience and to be part of that long-standing history of the TIE exchange program. Before we also would like to offer to you a few greeting words by our own principal, Andreas Jungnes, I would like to just share 2 thoughts with you. Who knows the story of the Pied Piper? Raise your arm if you know the story of the Pied Piper. Okay, I do, obviously.
Wow.
That's quite long, but not all of you. Let me just give you a quick, very quick recounting of the story. Imagine a medieval city, enclosed walls, tight spaces, many people living there, a river that's already an important trade route running through the city, markets, people coming in and out of the city. And suddenly, there's a plague of rats. Not the rats that are normal and that are acceptable, but far too many. And the city council, the magistrate of that city, becomes desperate. One day, in comes a piper that offers to lead all the rats out of the city and to sort of bring the rat population back to a normal, acceptable level for a medieval city. The magistrate is is very happy about that, and they offer to pay quite a lot of money. So the piper leads the rats out of the city, and afterwards the city council says, "You've done your job, we don't need to pay you anymore, the rats are gone." The next thing the piper does, according to legend, is he plays a different tune, and he leads all the kids out of the city, leaving the city not only with just very few rats, but also without many children. That's the story of the Pied Piper. So on the one hand, I think it's a story about kept promises, and in a way I think this exchange program going on for 40 years is a very good example on how sort of mutual friendship, mutual promise between schools to visit each other, to get to know different cultures, can stay for quite a long time. The other thing is there are many theories of what kind of truth, historical truth there is in this legend. And one that I think is extremely plausible is that in that time, many areas of Europe were not as settled as they are today. And from time to time, advertisers would come to towns and would just collect people who are interested in seeing new places, maybe settle new places and come into contact with new people. And they would leave that city, that town, with a group of people to go some other place. And this sort of version of historical truth is, I think, another good example to see how important it is and how long-standing the idea of being adventurous, having contact with international contact with different people is, and how long-standing that can be. So, if that would be the true version, so as the Pied Piper did today, we've brought students who are adventurous, who want to learn about new cultures, who want to learn about your state of Vermont and your country of the United States here. And we are very much looking forward to having your group over in spring next year. So, again, as 2 years ago, I would just like to thank everyone involved in the TIE program this year and also last time. And now I would like to hand over to Salko Blatz, who's going to offer you greeting words by our principal, Andreas Lunditz.
We are looking back in great thankfulness on the partnership of our schools, South Burlington High School and the Schiller Gymnasium in Hamelin. This partnership is lasting for 40 years now, and in these 40 years, many friendships grew between the people who established the exchange program in the first place, and of course between those who were involved and still are today. We think it is impressive that there is such a vivid transatlantic partnership that brings together young people from 2 different countries. We think that this is the basis for intercultural learning and understanding. Exchange programs like this one have the potential to promote and secure lasting peace between people. We have to thank Bob Schirmer and Ewald Hofer, who implemented their vision of this school partnership and made it come true. We greatly appreciate their commitment and have to thank them and all the people who did and still do their best so that young students from South Burlington High School and the Schiller Gymnasium are able to become part of the international experience. We want to honor their courage, farsightedness, and the lasting commitment to bring together young people to share their cultures. Our principal, Mr. Jungnitz, wants to thank all these people for the support, their companionship, and their hospitality for generations of Schiller students. It is amazing that they made it possible for our students to be guests at this school and to discover the beautiful state of Vermont. Without the families that opened the doors to their homes for our students, this project wouldn't have been so successful in the past. In the end, it's also the curiosity, the enthusiasm, and the openness of our students, of course, which keep this exchange alive. We hope that this urge to learn more about other cultures and to share the amazing experiences with others will never stop. Our students, their parents, the teachers at the Schiller Gymnasium, and of course our principal are very grateful for the partnership and friendship with South Burlington High School. We will do our best to remain good partners and friends in the future. And as a symbol of the bond between our schools, Mr. Jungnitz sent us a present that we want to give to you now. just said that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. We just said that Hamlin is famous for a legend, the legend of the Pied Piper, who helped the people from Hamlin to get rid of the red pest back in the Middle Ages. And even though the rat is probably not the most popular animal, it shaped the image of our hometown and became a tourist attraction. And Hamlin is linked to this great history, and today's students who come, they would never leave without a rat souvenir. And that is what we brought today, since we have so many of them in Hamlin. Of course, I'm talking about souvenir rats. We love to spread them across the globe.
Okay, just so you know, this is a, not only is this a rat, this is a rat that is, these are two rats. Oh, outstanding. And they have on them the South Burlington High School interlocking SB logo that we are also familiar with, as well as the German and US flag, and the Schiller school crest as well, with the German flag on that. Thank you very much for your thoughtful answer.
They were made at our school in our artist's workshop, and our principal wants us to make sure that they will never be separated as a symbol of this exchange program. Thank you so much for having us here today.
Keep them together. I have some quick comments and observations, just so you know that, and those of you who are seniors here, or juniors, seniors, sophomores, etc., you know that it is really rare that we assemble the entire student body in one location. If you count graduation, we really only do it 2 times a year typically, and so thank you for being here today. And there's unique pressure associated with doing this. Like, for example, when Mr. Shermer was listing the years we had the exchange and the number of students who participated, I clearly saw my man, Mr. Stone, doing the math in his head to check to make sure that Mr. Shermer was getting it right. These are the kinds of pressure that we're under up here. If I misspeak, you can be sure Joyce Sheehy is going to correct my grammar in an email later on today. This is not a simple operation. Seriously, I really want to thank all of you in the audience. I want to give some congratulations to our TIE students who did a nice job public speaking in front of all of you. Not easy. In addition, a special shout out to Hank and Sam. Great job, gentlemen. All of the teachers for giving up some time in Block 2. I want to thank the phys ed teachers for giving up their classroom. Recognize our custodians who did the setup today. And in closing, I think it is fitting. You heard in the letter from Harry Yolnitz his mention of lasting peace being one of the goals of our exchange program. And to that, I would like to share a quote with you from Maria Montessori, who said, "Establishing lasting peace is the work of education. All politicians can do is try to keep us out of war." So, on behalf of all of my fellow educators here, I can tell you that we do firmly believe in the establishment of lasting peace in this international experience that has become such a rich part of our school. And I thank you for your attention and assistance today. At this time, folks are dismissed to return to their advisories, get what they need to, and get on to Block 2. Thank you very much.